Welcome to my channel. I am GDP, and today we're going to be talking about the new hero, Tuss in PvP. I know you guys have been waiting for my opinion on this hero to see if I've made this hero work, because I am sure plenty of you guys are aware of all the rumors that have been going on. I mean, they pretty much are everywhere in the Discord and the Reddit. Pretty sure it's been on Facebook as well, because I don't check that as much. But I'm sure plenty of you guys are plenty aware with many of her issues. Simply put, this hero reminded me a lot of a previous light hero actually, that was released several years ago and just recently got imprints. Even before the hero was released, when I read her skills the day before that she came out, I was pretty much skeptical of how she will be in her performance in PvP, because I did do extensive tests with this other hero, hundreds of tests at him with V4, and this hero is Faithblade. This hero does remind me a lot of Faithblade. Um, she does have a little bit more killing potential than Faithblade does, just because when she does trigger her Divine Retribution with her active, it does do a lot of damage and it ignores Unbending Will, so it will finish off heroes. But she does lack other areas in her kit that pretty much don't bring her worth bringing in a PvP fight in the current endgame meta. So let's go ahead and read out her skills and talk about her pros and cons after we read these skills. Let's start it off with the last passive here. Justice shall prevail. Whenever an ally deals critical damage, she will basically heal herself for 200% HP. And whenever an ally uses a skill, she will mark or tag a hero with Sacred Emblem, two of them with the lowest HP. At Void 3, this becomes 80% and a 300% heal. This last passive here, when she does, or when your ally kills a hero, you do actually mark other heroes. So if your SFX ends up killing a hero, this Justice Shall Prevail will actually tag two other heroes and not the hero that you killed. So you don't actually lose any marks when you get a killing blow with this hero or another hero. So keep that in mind. You don't actually lose stacks when you kill a hero. And then going on to the second passive here, whenever she does a basic attack, she deals 200% attack. I think it's 300% at Void 2, 240%, and then deals an additional 240% or 200% attack damage whenever they have Sacred Emblem on them. And basic attacks have a 100% chance to inflict one stack of Sacred Emblem. So this one here, so if the basic attack does end up killing a hero, you actually do get a wasted stack of Sacred here. This does count as two instances of a hit. So when you are hitting a hero that has Sacred Emblem with Tuss, it will take off 2 raw shields instead of 1, because the second portion is counted as an additional hit. Moving on to the active here, selects 2 random enemies, prioritizing heroes with the most stacks of Sacred Emblem, and deals 320% of attack damage. It's at 400 at V4, and the skill deals 320% of more damage. Once again, 400% at V4. More damage if they have Sacred Emblem, and then if they have 3 stacks, does another 320 or 400 attack damage. And then at 5 stacks, they trigger Divine Retribution, which is 1,000% damage or 1250% attack damage. And this can't be boosted, can't crit. The critical hit part really isn't that big of a deal because 1,000% hit is pretty massive anyways. And if you are triggering this at a, if you're at V4 or V3 with a decent solid investment in your imprints, the amount of attack this hero has is pretty much going to one-shot a lot of heroes. So if you do end up triggering Divine Retribution, most likely you're going to be killing the hero that you hit. Um, Once again, though, if you don't kill your hero and it clears off the stacks, the last passive actually applies afterwards. So if you do end up hitting a hero, they have 5 stacks, you clear it with Divine Retribution. You have a possibility on this last passive to tag him with another stack. So the 70% or 80%, depending on how imprinted they are. So keep that in mind here is that this last passive is after the triggers after the active. So after you clear, you can still come out with 1 stack on that hero. So let's go ahead and talk about her pros. Once again, she can kill really easily. She is an assassin, so you can pretty much guaranteed 2 heroes dead with a solid team built around her. But if you do build a team around her, you are pretty squishy and you are taking up slots to basically boost her damage and her speed. So Rogan's and Tuss's. If you do run Tuss, you're gonna want to bring 2, just because you're gonna want to stack this faster and trigger the Divine Retribution in round 1 to try to kill heroes as fast as possible. It's pretty much how the meta is right now. Is you got to kill heroes really quickly in the first or second round. So first round is preferable, and to get the most out of her, you do want to kill in the first round. So most teams that do run her in multiples are running Rogans to get her speedy and boost her damage. But just like I said, she's like Faithblade, she attacks 2 heroes. This hero doesn't have stun immunity. She has just basically 30% control immunity. So it's not. A Cruz can easily counter her if you're running a feed team, which is pretty much what a lot of people found to work for her. Was basically run Rogans with a queen with the demon bell or a Rogan with the demon bells, and basically feed into the Tuss to make her active in round 1. Most people were running that with either a magic stone sword or a splendid crown. I did do some testing with the status of Punisher. It did somewhat work, but once again, this hero is very squishy, and this is basically one of her cons here. What's basically her major con. Just like Faithblade, she is super squishy, and she will die very easily. If she does end up hitting Queen, if the Queen ends up being the lowest target and she hits Queen, she is going to die very fast, and it's not going to be very good for Tuss. Faithblade kind of had the very same issues. Once again, I did hundreds and hundreds of tests, both with Faithblade and her. She's very similar in the aspect. They both do pretty much the exact same thing, except Faithblade brings a stun, and she doesn't, and he is stun immune. She is not, but she is able to kill a little bit easier than Faithblade. But Faithblade does have that recharging energy to him. So there are trade-offs bringing the 2 of them. They do kind of work together in the same team. But they're very squishy and they die very easily. And usually sustained teams, she's very weak against. And Cruz can just cripple her so easily. I'm not really sure what DH Games was thinking when they released this hero and designed this hero. A lot of heroes, to be relevant in the meta, they need to bring something other than just damage. If you look at all the heroes that are in the current meta, it's pretty much Sherlock's, carries, Ticks, SFX, Queen, Forces. You'll see a Rogan here and there. Ignis, Amon Ra. You'll see all those those are all basically the meta heroes, and they all bring not just damage but some sort of utility. Ticks brings doves, HP swaps. Ra brings healing curses and shields. Ignis is heals and damage reduction. And also can give control immunity to one hero for pretty much the rest of the fight. Tix has a CC, both Horrify and Silence, and also when he is dead, he has that Wraith that can, if it's stuck on an SFX, can pretty much kill an SFX and TOC in the later rounds, because that Wraith does do a lot of damage in the later rounds, especially if that Tix stole a bunch of attack. And once again, Tix steals attack. You have Rogan, who gives speed buffs and attack buffs. So you get where I'm going here. Is basically every hero that's in the meta right now brings something that's not just damage. Doing something that is just damage is very, very, very worrisome. I don't know what they were thinking releasing this hero. This hero needs either a complete rework or a major, major, major buff. One way that they could buffer is making this a 100% instead of a 70 or 80%, because it pretty feels bad when this doesn't get a stack. You're already limiting her damage ability by doing this, and that's all she's good for is damage. So I'm not sure why they even made this a chance to mark. It should have just been 100%. And I think it should have been 3 heroes instead of 2 heroes. That way you can have a little bit more of a chain reaction with killing, having the actives go out. I think that would have been a little bit better. And I also do think instead of 1 stack, maybe doing 2 stacks would be better on this ability. Because if you do 2 stacks, then you have open up the possibilities of running just 1 of her instead of 2 of her to kind of get that same killing potential in round 1. And then if you run 2 of her, I mean, obviously you're going to have a bunch of killing potential. So I think just adjusting this last passive could do a lot for her. Another thing that I do think is they should sort of rework this basic attack. This basic attack is pretty weak, in my opinion. Just having her attack something and hit, just mark one of them, like have her mark like all the opponents or something. I don't know. Do something with this. She needs several things touched to her kit that could, if they do want to have the ability of just damage, there are things that they could do to her that really, really, really could make her really strong, but not have any utility. So there are things that they could do. If they do rework her, then I would like to see some sort of utility, but they're going to keep her in the same sort of design concept. They need to touch her passives. I think the active part is okay. Maybe increase the damage numbers just a little bit in the top portion. Divine Retribution, I think, is enough damage, but maybe increase the base damage a little bit more. But other than that, I think if they reworked this passive and this passive, you could fix a lot of her issues and keep her squishy. Because a lot of times heroes like this are squishy. They're kind of like a one and done heroes. Like Forces. Forces doesn't have any damage reduction. He has control immunity. So where does this bring us? This brings us that this hero isn't worth burning. I mean, she's not worth the burning your team. She doesn't bring anything special. And there's other heroes that are better for her to bring. I'm not sure what DH Games is doing here. Hopefully they fix something with her, but I personally have not got her to work in a very consistent manner. So yeah, if you're wondering if you should be building this hero, I don't think you should be building this hero unless they buff her. However, the rewards are fantastic for Chinese New Year's. So if you do have 4,000 scrolls and you do have 10,000 gems, I do recommend just going for the, did I say 4,000 scrolls? So if you do have enough for 4 loops and you do have 10,000 gems, I do recommend just scrolling just for the pay to win artifact chest. Having one of those for free is always a plus, and we always, for the last several months, everyone's been asking, hey, we need some sort of reward for using our scrolls, and at least they gave us the reward for the scrolls. I know the rewards for Christmas weren't that great, and the hero ends up being a little bit better, but at least the rewards for this event are really good if you end up do using your scrolls and not spending the money. This event is fantastic for those people that hoarded those scrolls and are free to play. Not so much on the whale end, unless you want to rush your splendid snow heart. Me personally, I didn't. You're gonna want to either just if you need those artifacts, I guess you can go for it. But a lot of times, if you're in the end game, you're gonna want to spend your money on cores and not artifacts, unless you really, really, really need artifacts. But a lot of times people are looking for core. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Not a whole lot of PvP footage because she's not a hero that's worth bringing, and she is not a hero worth building in her current state. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and see you guys in the next one.